Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I decided to make another video. There is a crazy thunderstorm happening outside right now, so I apologize in advance if I get struck by lightning in the middle of the video. It could happen. You may have noticed that I've been a little bit absent recently, but I am back. How many times have I made a video where I say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I've been away unexpectedly, but I'm back now, and then I leave again. But anyways, Hi, I'm here. Today's video is a video that I've been thinking about for a little bit. Because of some of the books that I'm reading, they've sort of sparked this idea in my mind, and I want to talk to you guys about some of the book trends that I am so over. And now I'm not talking about tropes. So we're not talking about like enemies to lovers or anything like that, or the chosen one, my least favorite trope of all time, the chosen one trope. This is just trends. And the difference to me, I don't know if this is a real definition or one that I'm making up, but the difference to me is a trope is an element of the plot, and a trend is just something that an author has thrown into a book because it's, you know, it's popular right now, but it doesn't necessarily affect the plot. It's just a thing. Maybe that'll make more sense when we actually start the list. Before we get right into the video though, I want to talk to you about today's sponsor, Mythology Candles. I've partnered with Mythology Candles before, and I showed you guys my favorite nerdy candle that they did, the Lamp Post, which is a Narnia inspired candle. Today though, I wanted to showcase their newest addition to the lineup, the Golden Bounty Candle. This candle is in celebration of the sun god Luch, who I only know about because of the best Halloween episode of Bob's Burgers ever made. But in reality, this candle is meant to celebrate the start of the Celtic Harvest Festival, Lunasa? I'm not great with Celtic. You can use my link in the description to check out the Golden Bounty candle and to check out the rest of their nerdy collections, including their Arthurian collections, the aforementioned Narnia collection, some vampire collections, just all the cute, bookish, nerdy things you could want. Don't forget to take their scent quiz to figure out which candle is best suited for your little nosy. And of course, if you order a candle that you ultimately don't really like, they get it. They know you can't smell the internet. You can return the candle, easy, no hassle, and get something else instead. So thank you again to Mythology Candles for partnering with me on this video. Let's get into the actual video now. I do believe that this video is going to be in a rant style because these trends just bother me so much. The first trend that I want to bring to your attention is what I'm calling normal ass names. I'm so over normal ass names in books. And I don't mean like in contemporary, we've got the main character, John. Yeah, John is in every book. That's not really what I'm talking about though. I don't like John, but you know, he can stay. I'm talking about specifically, usually in fantasy, when authors are borrowing from real cultures and they're getting name inspiration from real Earth cultures. Sorry, I just hit the microphone. And they decide to pick the whitest ass names they can think of from these other cultures. And usually, frustratingly, it's because it's a love interest or the main character, but it's like, this character is hot, so they have to have the hottest name you could find in, for example, Norse mythology. Oh, your 6'5", blonde, blue-eyed, Viking-inspired love interest is Matthias? Really? When the rest of his family is Hurrar and Oddmund and Sigurd and Fritu and other, I don't want to say ugly because I know real people have these names, but like, his name is not Matthias. You chose that. And I get it. I know they're trying to make the character likable and relatable and easy for us stupid girlies to understand. And we're not gonna fall in love with Oddmund. I mean, I would, but you know. But it really pisses me off. I'm using Norse as an example because it's the least offensive, but I see this in other cultures that authors are pulling from like Asian cultures and Middle Eastern cultures. They are picking the whitest sounding names, the names most reminiscent of a white person name to give to the main character and love interest. And I'm like, I get it. I guess you're trying to connect with your audience, but like, come on, embrace the hard to pronounce names. Embrace the uniqueness, embrace the real culture. And this of course goes with like fantasy that's not inspired by a specific culture as well. I'm specifically thinking of Sarah J. Maas books right now. She's like, these are fantasy names, but they're actually just real names spelled really weird. I don't know. I think I'm just over hot names. I'm over sexy white people names. I love a name that I have to look up a pronunciation video, and I still don't know it because the pronunciation video is wrong. You heard me trying to say Lunasa in the sponsor for the sun god Lu? I don't know. Anyways, I'm really over normal ass names. The next trend that I hate is a little similar, where it's physical traits that match personality traits, and it's extremely cliched. The first one that comes to mind is that you're like, fiery, sassy girl character has red hair. No, she doesn't. She's a person. Maybe she dyed it red to enhance her own sassiness, but like, no. I'm reading a book right now, I'm not gonna say which one, but I'm reading a book and a character was introduced and he is described with having these like bright yellow eyes. He's not magical, this is not actually magic, but he's got these bright yellow wolfish eyes. And he's constantly described with these wolfish features that align perfectly with his wolfish personality. And I'm like, so he was born with yellow eyes for whatever reason. Again, this is not magical. He was born with yellow eyes, and then he happened to turn out to be a very conniving, evil man. I'm over it. I'm over the obvious, cliched physical appearances of characters that are given specific personality traits. I want you to mix it up. Make your red-haired character very shy. Make your mousy, curly-haired brunette the sassy, spicy one. The third trend is tied to the second trend because it's kind of similar. But I've found recently that a lot of female characters in, high fantasy or romantasy are very tiny. They're very small little girls. And there's nothing wrong with a small girl. And I'm not just saying this because I'm not a small girl, but I just kind of over the size difference romances, like where Matthias is 6'5", and girl, let's call her Violet, is 4'11". And along with this trend is like a companion trend that's almost always, she's very tiny, but because of this, she's so fast. And that's how she can beat the guys, because she's so fast. And I'm like, small people are not inherently fast. They're not just faster because their arms are shorter. Like, if she has not done any training, she's not gonna beat the guy who's very tall just because she's faster than him. He'll kill her. He'll punch her in the face and she'll die. This is a very complicated, feelings one that I need to unpack a bit more, I think. But I am very much over the small, tiny heroine who's very fast and very talented, but has actually done no training at all. I think this honestly stems from Twilight. For me, with Alice, where, they're all vampires and they all have that vampire strength, but Alice is the fast one because she's so small. I'm like, they're all vampires. Why is she faster than everyone else because she's little? That doesn't make any sense. That's not logical. Unless you specifically tell me that your tiny girl character has trained to use her tininess as an advantage, I'm not buying it. It's not an inherent skill. Or maybe it is. I'm not tiny, so I wouldn't know. If you're a tiny girl, comment down below if you're very fast. I think I also just want more tall, bulky ladies. And I think we are seeing more, so maybe this is a trend that I like, that we are starting to see. We're not seeing it in like romantasy, unfortunately. We still got those little baby girls in romantasy, but in other types of fantasy, we are seeing more muscly tall women, which is neat. Yeah, I don't know. Just train your female characters to use their size, no matter what it is, to their advantage, and don't just give them inherent skills for no reason. Trend number 4 is another romantasy trend. Yeah, pretty much romantasy. And it's that fae are just whatever the heck the author wants them to be. Now, we all know fae are extremely popular right now. Every romance book coming out has fae in it. But what are fae? Every author can make any creature whatever they want. There's no specific definition of fae. There are, but there's no rules. Authors can do whatever they want, just like they can make elves whatever they want, or any fantasy creature can have a name that is associated with a real fantasy creature, and then the author can change it. But I feel like authors are creating the fantasy creature they want, and then in order to use a buzzword and get popularity, they're like, it's fae. They're fae. But I think what fae actually means at this point is non-human creatures that are good at sex. No longer are they a court system full of trickery and magic. No. Now they're just people that are really hot, but they're not humans. They're fae. I am being very nitpicky, I understand. I do want my fae to be like classic Celtic Midsummer Night's Dream fae. Fairies. And I know they don't have to be, but I just want some rules, I guess. Or maybe depth. I want more depth in fae. And I think also me picking at this trend as something I don't like is actually a lot more connected to my hatred of bookish buzzwords. And I want to do a whole video on that at some point, on how publishing and marketing for publishing specifically has become only buzzwords and no substance. And fae is a big example of that. What are fae? What are they? Trend number 5 has to do with Vikings. So we're bringing it back to Norse. Didn't do that on purpose, but again, this is going to be me kind of nitpicking. But I feel that I've noticed that a lot of fantasy books that are not specifically set in a cold environment, but like the characters will travel to a cold environment and, interact with the locals. Those locals are always Vikings or very heavily Viking influenced. And I just want to see a little more creativity. Like, it's fine to be writing a Viking inspired fantasy, and obviously you're drawing from Vikings for that. But it kind of feels like lazy, like a throwaway culture, to be like, oh, and they went to this cold area where there was snow and everyone there was very burly and bearded and they were Vikings. But we're not calling them that. They're something else. But they're very clearly Vikings. And I just want authors to put in effort into researching other cold climate cultures that they can pull from, or to literally create their own. I don't know. And again, I get it where the reason I used Norse names in my first trend as an example is because it is safe. It's like safe for white authors to pull from Viking culture, whereas maybe they're nervous about pulling from a cold climate culture like Inuit. The cold climate culture we have here in Canada / Turtle Island is Inuit culture. And maybe white authors don't want to pull from Inuit culture because they're worried about getting canceled. Okay, Vikings are easy, but just try a little harder. There's other ones out there, Or put your own spin on it. Don't just copy paste Vikings into your story because there's snow. Am I making any sense? Rarely. I'm sick of it. The video is 5 book trends that I'm over, but I do have a 6th. And this is not a trend, but more of a pet peeve. I mean, I think these were all pet peeves ultimately. I have just another related pet peeve that I'm not sure is a trend. It's just something I've noticed. A lot of authors, while world building, will include every possible climate in their country that they've created. And it's like one location on a map, but it's like we have the cold section and the desert section and the rainforest section. And I'm like, what is this, Zelda? It doesn't make sense geologically. Sure, countries can have a lot of different climates. I live in a very climate diverse country, Canada. But it won't take me a day to walk north into where there's always snow. It won't take me a day to walk from the sort of escarpment, dry badlands where I live to the actual rainforests in BC. I can't, it's too close. They're all too close together. But authors, they want to do it. They're like, I need to represent every climate on my map, and my characters are going to visit them all. They're going to walk there. It's crazy. That's just me nitpicking. Again, that's a pet peeve. That's not a trend. It's just something I've seen a couple of times, a lot of the time in young adult books, because I don't know, maybe they think teenagers are stupid. I don't know. Okay, so that was 6. Technically 6 trends, 5 trends and a pet peeve that I'm so over. I'm so over. That's what the video is. I'm so over these. Do I want anything to be done about this? No. Do whatever you want. Everyone is free to write what makes them happy. And if that means you want to call your sexy male fae love interest Matthias, even though he has no magic, he's just not a human. He's a fae. Then do it. Whatever. Maybe he's a Viking fae. And he's slow because he's so tall Thank you again to Mythology Candles for sponsoring this video. Check out all of their nerdy, bookish, fantasy mythology candles at the link in my description. And yeah, before I go, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell icon so you know when I upload new videos. I upload 2 days a week. I love you guys. Goodbye.